Okay, good afternoon everyone. So, for today, nasa last module na tayo for our midterm grading period. Module 4 na tayo. And for our learning objectives for today, meron tayong dalawang main topic of our main objective for today. Una, we will try to explain why the young Filipino ilustrados became expatriates in the late 18th and 19th century. And second objective is to determine the purpose of Noli Me Tangere and how it affected the development of literary writings and nationalism later on. So ito yung dalawang main objectives natin for today. So for that, unahin muna natin yung first objective natin, which is all about the expatriates. So bakit nga ba naging expatriates yung mga young Filipino ilustrados noong 18th at saka 19th century? But before that, ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng word o ng term na expatriate? So ang word origin ng word na expatriate is Greek. So dalawang Greek terms siya na pinagsama, ex at patros. Greek word na ex, ibig sabihin ay beyond or also it could mean outside. And then patros, meaning father, or it could also mean or beyond the father's abode. So pag pinagsama natin siya, no, ex and patros, it is referring to someone far or beyond or outside the father's abode or yung tirahan niya, for example. So in the modern terminologies, pag sinabi nating expatriate, it is someone outside his or her country. Hindi siya o kaiba siya dun sa term natin as a tourist. Kasi ang isang tourist, nasa ibang bansa siya, like foreign tourist, nasa ibang bansa siya to do some leisure activities, no? Pag sinabi kasi nating expatriates, sila yung mga taong nasa ibang bansa to do something. Kumbaga may purpose yung pag-stay nila sa isang bansa. Like for example, for work, for study, or for other purposes other than leisure activities. So for these young ilustrados before, no, kung bakit nasa ibang bansa sila, yung expatriates na ring ilustrados, yung mga expatriate ilustrados natin, kung bakit nasa ibang bansa sila, yung kanilang purpose is to sought and kumbaga to campaign for reforms in the colonial government here in the Philippines. So nasa Espanya sila to campaign reforms for the government here in the Philippines. Mas madali kasi yung pag-campaign ng reforms kung nasa Espanya sila because of the very fact na napakalayo ng Pilipinas from mainland Spain, no? It will take kahit nga from Mexico to the Philippines, it will take them about a month. And in fact, Spain is actually governing the Philippines through Mexico. So kumbaga meron tayong um, parang third party na naggo-govern in behalf of mainland Spain, which is yun nga yung Viceroyalty of Mexico kasi nga napakalayo ng Pilipinas from mainland Spain. So mas magiging convenient for these ilustrados to campaign for reform kung nasa mismong mainland Spain sila. So what are these specific reasons kung bakit nasa Spain itong mga ilustrados o tinatawag nating mga young expatriates na nasa Spain? Merong tatlong bagay o tatlong reason na tinitingnan kung bakit nasa Spain sila o bakit naging expatriate sila later on. First thing, new ideas or new concepts in Europe. So 18th, 19th century, sa mga panahong ito, this is a very, kumbaga, time frame kung saan yung concept of freedom, equality, democracy, government, politics in general are developing. No? And the people in, not just in Spain, but in Europe as a whole, they can freely discuss these topics no, in their areas. Unlike here in the Philippines, when you talk about freedom, democracy, or yung equality, it is somehow a form of a criminal offense if you discuss these topics publicly. Kumbaga, they will consider this as a form of treason. But dun sa Europe and mainland Spain, these are openly discussed. So eto yung mga bagay na gustong mas matutunan ng mga illustrados from Europe. Ano ba yung konsepto nila of freedom? Ano ba yung concept nila of equality? Ano ba yung concept nila of government, politics, and democracy? Kasi nga, yung mga concepts na to very new, no, or very foreign, or very alien sa Filipino context. Kasi nga, we don't have this context sa Pilipinas. And so saan pa ba mas magandang pag-aralan yung ganitong development kundi dun sa Europa since dun mismo yung development of this what they call this one of these concepts, and at the same time they want to kumbaga um, what do you call this one, to gain sentiments, makahanap ng kakampi from foreign thinkers regarding the situation here in the Philippines because of the fact na yun nga, they cannot openly discuss these concepts and these concepts are not existing or non-existent siya sa Pilipinas. Okay? Pangalawa, education benefits. Uh, Itong mga ilustrados, 'pag sinabi kasi nating ilustrados, sila yung mga educated na Filipinos, okay, mga educated Filipinos. So, before pa sila nakarating sa Espanya ay, somehow they already gained some form of education dito sa Pilipinas. Yun nga lang, dito sa Pilipinas kasi yung form of education natin is very limited. Very ano siya, very, anchored to, theology, yung ating mga courses o yung mga subjects na itinuturo dito sa Pilipinas. Kung merong mga practical courses or skills or field na itinuturo dito sa Pilipinas, it's more on medical practice and medical practice and engineering and architecture. But again, yung engineering and architecture na yun is very related pa rin dun sa construction of churches and religion and even medicine. Unlike kung pupunta sila ng Europa, again, new concepts, new topics, and new ways or uh, ano ba, yung mga pamamaraan on how to implement and educate themselves ay andun sa Europa. So, it's more beneficial for them to further their education if andun sila sa Europa. And yun nga, sa Europe din naman kasi yung center of development of new ideas and concept during this time no, sa 18th and 19th century. US is not as advanced compared to Europe during this time frame. So the best place if you want to develop some concepts, education, ay andun sa Europa. Ito yung tinatawag nilang center of the world at that very moment, no? And later on, nagbago rin, nag-shift rin from this world to the American context. That's why Europe is considered as the old world and America is the new world because the new developments later on was developed na in the United States. But again, this particular time frame, 18th, 19th century, the center of development is in Europe. So that's why most of the ilustrados have decided na dun pumunta sa Europa to further their educational development and also to learn the new ideas and concepts which is developing in Europe. And lastly, to bring recognition. Ano bang ibig sabihin ng recognition na ito? Again, hardly heard ang Philippine condition, yung Philippine social condition sa Pilipinas by mainland Spain because of the fact na napakalayo nga ng Pilipinas from Spain. And para ma-recognize nga yung problema o yung existing condition dito sa Pilipinas, the best place is dun sa heart mismo, yung sentro mismo ng Spanish Empire, which is in Spain, of course, mainland Spain. So they want these conditions to be recognized by the Spanish imperial government itself, hindi lang ng colonial government. Kasi at least diretso yung kanilang mga problema na marinig ng mga what they call this one, ng mga government officials from Spain. And yun nga, isa sa mga pamamaraan nila to be recognized ay yung campaign of reform sila ay um, through writing and joining competitions. And yung mga competition na sinasalihan nila ay they want as much as possible they can share the social conditions of the Philippines so that again to bring recognition regarding the Philippine social condition. At isa na nga dito sa pinaka famous na works na nagbigay ng recognition regarding the Philippine social condition ay yung novel ni Jose Rizal na Noli Me Tangere. Okay? And with this one, dito natin magagamit yung ating deconstruction of work, no? Gaya ng ginagawa natin nung prelim pa lang. So today, aside from the explanation of why the young Filipino illustrations became expatriate, we will deconstruct Noli Me Tangere as well today. So paano ba yung ating magiging format of deconstruction? So ito yung ating magiging format of deconstruction Noli Me Tangere. So we will be deconstructing the novel through its title, publication year, the number of chapters, the characters, the main protagonist and antagonist, yung kanyang literary style, inspiration, and yung emphasis of the novel. So unahin natin i-deconstruct yung novel through its title. So yung title na Noli Me Tangere was actually a biblical passage from John 20 verse 13 to 17. It's actually uh, parang it's a response of Jesus Christ to Mary Magdalene, touch me not. No? So you can find it there in John 20, 13 to 17. But it should not be taken kumbaga literally from the biblical passage. Kumbaga nakot lang yung attention ni Rizal by that particular line. Kasi yung binabasa niyang Bible is in Spanish or in Latin. It was written in Noli Me Tangere. Yung touch me not, it was written in Noli Me Tangere. And yun, it caught Rizal's attention. That's why yun yung naging title niya of his first novel na naging Noli Me Tangere. And then it was published in 1887 in Europe. Meron siyang 63 known chapters, but actually meron siyang 64 chapters all in all. Pero yung published ay 63. Anong nangyari dun sa isang chapter? Yung isang chapter na hindi nasali dun sa published version ay actually it's all about the nature or origin of Elias. Pero yun nga lang, hindi alam ni Rizal kung saan niya ipapasok na part yung chapter na yun, kung sa gitna ba, later part, or what. So, hindi niya malaman kung saan niya i-insert. So, hindi na lang niya in-include yung chapter na yun regarding or explaining the origin of Elias. So, yung iba, they refer this particular chapter as chapter X. Kumbaga, chapter as a known chapter ba. So, chapter X, hindi siya chapter 10, chapter X siya. Kasi hindi nga alam kung saan ipapasok na bahagi dun sa novel. So, yun nga, because of that very thing na hindi alam ni Rizal kung saan niya ilalagay na bahagi. So, 63 chapters lang yung kanyang na i-publish regarding the novel na Noli Me Tangere. And in terms of the character, very colorful yung mga characters ni Jose Rizal, no? Main protagonist, actually maraming protagonist o yung sinasabi nating bida sa kwento, but yung kwento ng Noli Me Tangere ay umiikot siya dun sa kwento ni Crisostomo Ibarra. So basically, siya yung main protagonist of the story. Although meron ding mga side protagonists. Okay? But yun nga, again, umiikot yung kwento doon kay Crisostomo Ibarra. And for the main antagonist, o yung mga mismong kontrabida ng kwento, marami sila actually. But again, the main antagonist, yung always na nababanggit ay yung mga Spanish friars at yung mga Blancos. Friars and the Blancos. Pag sinabi natin Blancos, if you can remember, sila yung first three levels sa ating kasta system, right? The Peninsulares, Insulares, and the Americano. So sila yung mga isa sa mga nagpapahirap at nagbibigay challenge dun kay Crisostomo Ibarra at ibang main protagonist dun sa ating kwento. So again, the main protagonist is si Crisostomo Ibarra since sa kanya nga umiikot yung most of the story at yung main antagonist natin ay yung mga friars and the members of the Blanco na kasta. Ayan. As for the literary style ng Noli Me Tangere, may dalawang considered literary style siya or genres. No, it can be considered as a fiction and a satire. Pag sinabi nating fiction, ibig sabihin yung kwento ay hindi totoo, kumbaga katang-isip lang siya. So ibig sabihin yung kwento ng Noli Me Tangere ay hindi totoo. Kumbaga yung kwento ng bawat characters. Hindi totoo hindi totoong tao si Crisostomo Ibarra, hindi totoong tao si Maria Clara, hindi totoong tao si Padre Damaso, but they can form as a form of a symbol to reality. But again, these people are not real people. Okay? And it can also form as a form of a satire. Ibig sabihin, a form of exaggeration or parang ano ba yung tawag niyan sa ating modern day? Um, May tawag tayo diyan, eh, sa meron nga tayong diyan sa Facebook. Yung mga memes natin na parang, patama, yung mga it's a form of sarcasm, parang gano'n, satire, 'no, may form of exaggeration, may form na may hinahaluan natin ng humor para hindi masyadong seryoso yung pag-exaggerate ng mga serious problem. So, parang gano'n din sa Noli Me Tangere, it's a form of, fiction and a satire. So, gano'n yung takbo ng kwento ng Noli Me Tangere. And also, as for the inspiration, yung pinaka-point ni Jose Rizal is, yun nga, to bring recognition regarding the situation, the social condition of the Philippines. Gaya nga ng sabi ko kanina dun sa literary style, although it is fictional in nature, but the characters and the story is forming symbol regarding the situation in the Philippines. No, Crisostomo Ibarra as a regular Filipino, Maria Clara representing the Filipinas as a whole, the Spanish friars are representing the Spanish colonizers and etc. etc. And kung ano man yung ginagawa sa mga characters at kung ano man yung nangyayari dun sa mga characters, it's a form of symbolism kung ano yung nangyayari sa Philippine social condition. So, ganun yung kumbaga pinaka-inspiration kung bakit naisulat ni Rizal yung Noli Me Tangere. So ano ba ang reasons ng ni Rizal kung bakit niya mismo isinulat yung Noli Me Tangere? Una, to disprove accusations made by the Spaniards to Filipino. May mga accusations kasi ang mga Kastila patungkol sa kaugalian ng mga Filipino. Isa na nga doon yung pagiging tamad raw ng mga Filipino. In-explain ni Rizal yun. Hindi lang sa Noli Me Tangere, meron din siyang iba pang mga isinulat tungkol sa kaugalian ng mga Pilipino. Mababasa niyan sa The Indolence of the Filipino People or La Indolencia Filipina. It's another work of Jose Rizal explaining kung bakit nga ba kinoconsider na tamad ng mga Kastila yung Filipino at bakit nga ba tamad yung kumbaga yung sort of act ng mga Filipino. So may explanation doon si Jose Rizal at isa din doon. Yun nga, andun din sa Noli Me Tangere yung isa sa mga explanation doon. Pangalawa, ma-express yung totoong social condition ng Pilipinas. Yun naman yung pinaka-point or purpose ni Jose Rizal as an ilustrado, as a reformist, no? Na ma-express kung ano yung totoong situation dito sa Pilipinas. Pangalawa, ma-express at maipakita na kung ano yung everyday or day-to-day challenges ng mga Filipinos against or under Spanish colonization or even yung mga ginagawa ng mga friars sa mga Filipinos before pa. Kasi nga, if you can remember during your history classes or for some today or for some of you still taking, for Cavite Mutiny, right? We have our social conditions. Binawi ng isang Governor General yung mga good policies ng former Governor General kasi nga parang hindi deserve ng mga Indio o ng mga Filipinos yung mga ganong policies for the fact na they are Indios. So, at the same time, yung mga praile rin may mga ginagawang, pang-aabuso sa mga Pilipino, especially in land reform movements or in land reform. Kasi nga karamihan ng mga lupain sa Pilipinas, especially in the provincial areas outside, Manila or Intramuros at that time, ay hawak ng mga, praileng Kastila. Sila yung may hawak, sila yung may kumbaga may-ari at, sila din yung, may, responsibility and power to collect taxes. At minsan upon collecting taxes, yung mga Filipino na may, o yung walang kakayanang magbayad ng, in form of, cash, they pay their taxes in form of kind. So, minsan, inaabuso yon ng mga praile o tinataasan pa lalo, kahit lagpas na dun sa actual value of their tax yung kanilang ibinibigay. So, may mga gano'ng ginagawa ang mga praile at kung minsan, kung hindi nagugustuhan ng mga praile yung isang, specific family in that particular area ay iniipit nila. Kagaya nung nangyari kay Jose Rizal. Jose Rizal is, since hindi na mahagilap ng, Spanish friars and Spanish authorities si Jose Rizal, since nga nandun si Jose Rizal sa Espanya, ang, pinagbuntunan ng galit ng mga Dominikano ay, yung kanyang pamilya dun sa Calamba. So, tinaasan yung kanilang, rent 'no, yung, payment 'no, for their lands dun sa Calamba. At that time kasi, napeste yung kanilang, mga tubuhan ni sa Rizal at yung kanilang mga taniman. So, mababa yung kanilang kumbaga harvest. Wala silang masyadong kinikita because of the situation at nakita ng, mga Praile yung opportunity for that. So, tinaasan nila yung rent kasi nga gusto nilang maipit yung, family ni Jose Rizal. Una, para maipauwi nila si Jose Rizal dito sa Pilipinas. Pangalawa, para din walang maipadalang pera yung family ni Jose Rizal dun sa Espanya. So they saw that as an opportunity para, kumbaga maipalabas na sa Rizal at madakip. So yun, may mga ginagawang ganong, actions yung mga friars, before. So yun, ang isa sa mga gustong ipakita ni Jose Rizal na yung mga friars, supposedly to bring the word of God to every Filipino people or Indio in the country or kumbaga yung purpose na yun ay lumalagpas na sila dun sa purpose na yon at, nagiging abusive na sila at some point. So yun yung isa sa mga form of reason yung sa Rizal bakit niya gustong, ipakita yun through his novel na Noli Me Tangere. So again, that's how we deconstruct a novel for this, matter, Noli Me Tangere. No? So we have the novel title, the year of publication, the chapters, the main characters, the style or the genres, and the inspiration, emphasis, or reason of, writing the novel. So ganun din yung gagawin natin later on sa Il Filibusterismo and hopefully mas familiar na kayo. For now, wala muna tayong gagawing deconstruction of Noli Me Tangere kasi nga, at least magkakaroon lang kayo ng idea kung paano gagawin. But later on, pagdating ng, pre-finals, we will do it sa El Filibusterismo. Okay? So much about it. For your, task, this week or I mean concluding week of the midterm, yan. Ika po yung siguro sa letter D, nagnaog siya. Wala na ako na-edit og tarong. So anyway, read 03 and 04 Handout 1. It's all about, it's all our topic actually, no? Topic for midterm. So hopefully, dahan-dahan yun siyang, binabasa for our activities, this including of midterm. And answer midterm quiz 1. Ito lang yung nag-iisa nating quiz for, midterm. Pinag-isa na natin yung quiz for module 3 and 4 dun sa ating midterm quiz 1. So hopefully basahin nyo talaga yung ating dalawang handouts kasi dun din lang naman iikot yung topics for our midterm quiz 1. And I guess, 0 for task performance 1. Hindi ko lang alam kung available na siya sa inyong EMS, pero kung hindi pa, yung sistema niya, yung form niya, no, of, how or kung ano yung gagawin natin sa task performance for midterm ay kagaya lang din ng ating prelim. It's an essay form na na what do you call this one? Na task performance. May mga series of questions na kailangan yung, sagutan at, anyway may instructions naman dun sa ating task performance so that at least guided kayo sa kung anong gagawin. But I guess familiar na rin kayo sa kung anong gagawin kasi nga same lang naman yung mga instructions natin, yung main instructions natin for the TP from prelim, no? So magkaparehas lang sila halos ng instructions. Magkaiba lang ng questions na sasagutan. Okay? And for that matter, um, okay. So for that matter, gawin nyo ng maayos yung ating task performance for midterm. I am aware na some of your outputs from prelim are not cite well, I would like to assume na hindi nyo lang siya na-cite properly kasi parang napaka-ano naman 'no, napaka-invasive 'pag sinabi natin na nag-copy paste kayo. Hindi ko naman alam directly ano kung talagang 'yun ang ginawa ninyo but ano na lang to be safe siguro, um, sabihin lang natin na baka nakalimutan lang to cite properly and ma-rephrase properly yung ating mga outputs during prelim. But this time, ngayong midterm, I will be very strict regarding this one. Rephrase as much as possible, cite your sources properly kasi kung hindi nyo magawa yan ng maayos, I will directly put your score, I will directly kumbaga strike it down and give you a score of 0 for task performance slash examination. Okay? Ibig sabihin, yung task performance natin for midterm will also serve as your examination. And that's why I'm very keen and serious about proper citation and proper citation and rephrasing kung ano man yung mga kinukuha yung sagot from other sources regarding our essay na task performance ngayong midterm grading period. So dapat ayusin natin ng pagkagawa yung ating midterm task performance kasi nga again, it will serve as your examination as well. So again, kung hindi maayos yung pagkakagawa natin ng task performance, if you can remember, task performance is 50% of your grade. And then since task performance will also serve as your examination, and examination is 30% of your grade. So all in all, this particular requirement will cover 80% of your grade. Okay? So kung hindi maayos yung pagkakagawa ng inyong task performance, you have 80% chances, no, once and for all, 80% chances of failing midterm. Isang activity lang yon but meron siyang ganong kalawak na possibility. 80% agad-agad na chances of failing midterm kung hindi maayos yung pagkakagawa or you're not citing your sources properly, walang references, walang kung ano mang kailangan na gawin for your essay. So as much as possible, cite your sources properly. Yun lang naman yung pinaka hinihingi natin, no? Para lang hindi tayo ma-cast out as a kumbaga plagiarizer or a criminal for that criminal offense no plagiarism. So again, ayusin yung ating TP because again, it will serve as your task performance. And for this one, although no, same or TP serves as your examination, yung pag-record ng score nito ay hiwalay. Hiwalay kung ire-record yung score for TP and also your examination. So kung the settlement of account will still matter. So kung hindi settled yung account natin for that examination period, di ba, our examination I guess will start this weekend if I'm not mistaken. 19, 19, 20, and then by Monday next week and Tuesday, kung tama yung pagkakaalala ko. So, by that time, kung hindi pa rin masettle yung account natin, ano, at nagawa na natin yung TP, hindi ko i-record yung score mo sa examination. Yung TP lang, dun ko lang siya i-record. So, kumbaga, kumbaga existing pa rin yung rule na yon na you have to settle your account for so that I can record your examination. Okay? So, hopefully yun nga, I mean, you get the idea. But again, hopefully yun nga magawa natin ng maayos regardless of the account, no. Magawa natin ng maayos kung ano man yung hinihingi natin for the task performance nga napakalaki nung coverage ng TP natin for midterm. It's 80% of your grade. It's TP/examination. Midterm quiz 1 is our only quiz and quiz natin is 20%. So malaki rin yung impact niya of your grade. So 20%. Okay? So kung hindi pa available yung ating TP on ELMS, I will make it available later tonight or tomorrow kasi medyo busy pa tayo tonight. May mga ginagawa tayo sa buhay. Oo. So anyway, so much about it. So again, eto yung mga kailangan natin gawin for the entire midterm basically. I will post this one sa ating class teams, especially itong deconstruction, at least you have the idea kung paano. Kasi may question dun regarding no limit tangere. And also, read the handouts para meron din kayong maisagot dun sa ating TP later on. So, I will post also this one, itong task for this week na slide sa ating ELMS para guided din kayo kung anong gagawin for the entire midterm ng mga requirements. Okay. So anyway, do you have any questions, clarifications before we end our session for today?
Wala, sir.